People come and ask me, Swamiji, how to break my habits? Be very clear. 2 days ago you were smoking, 10 years ago you were smoking, or 20 years ago you were smoking. All these three incidents are completely independent. They are not connected. Mentally, when you start connecting, when you start believing you have the habit of smoking and you are addicted to it, this belief creates a shaft. Now you start fighting with that shaft which doesn't exist. Understand this one truth. The shaft which doesn't exist you create. You connect the smoking of 10 years ago, which is smoked 9 years ago, and the smoking which you did 3 years ago, and the smoking which you did yesterday. Connect and create a thought, belief that you have the smoking habit and you are addicted to it. Then you start fighting with it. If you believe it is joyful experience, you continue to smoke more and more. If you believe it's a painful experience, you start fighting with that shaft. But both the way, you can neither elongate joy by smoking. One more example. Even if you believe the smoking is joyful, try to smoke and see. When you are exactly smoking itself, it is not joyful. You can see in your life. The definition for addiction is, if you don't do, you will feel terribly that you are missing. If you do, you won't feel the joy. If you do it, it will not be great, so. If you don't, you will feel that you are missing it. If you start believing that smoking is joy, if you don't do, you will miss. When you do it, exactly when you are doing, that moment, see what is happening in your inner space. You are not enjoying, you are just trying to escape from some thoughts. You are just running. You are restless, that's all. You are not relaxing. You are just believing that smoking is joyful. Even if you don't feel joyful when you are smoking, you try to squeeze joy out of it. You try to squeeze joy out of it. See, deeply screen your life. Whatever you think as joy, even when you don't feel joy, whether it is sex or greed or taste, any pleasure, even if you don't feel the same joy, you try to squeeze joy out of it. You try to console yourself. No, this is joy. What else is joy? You try to cover the frustration by your belief that it is joy. When you decide, when you start believing it is joy, even if it is not giving you the joy, you force yourself to believe it is joy. You try to cover the frustration, it is joy. You try to cover the frustration that it is not joy, you are not ready to believe, you try to believe it is joy. Same way, if you decide something is pain, if you start believing something is pain, even if it is not painful, you try to force yourself, you try to imagine, you convince yourself it is pain and continue to struggle. Whether the habit of addiction or the concepts of joy, concepts of pain, everything is purely unconnected, unclutched, illogical thoughts. You connect them. Now you have a tremendous fear. If this is true, how can I live? Because the whole life is mess now. Some thoughts are coming and some thoughts are going. Please be very clear. Because you believe some thoughts are connected and they are joy, you start giving life only to those thoughts. If you believe some thoughts are painful, you try to take energy away from that thoughts, you are not able to live your whole life. You are choosing. You are breaking your life. You are choosing. If you understand, you are unclutched. You are completely independent, illogical, unconnected, unclutched thoughts. Suddenly you will feel deep integrity in yourself. Suddenly you will feel that you are elevated to a different plane. Suddenly you will feel a discipline happening in you which doesn't need to be monitored. You don't need monitor. You don't need any balancing.